Hey, Sir Fix Alot here, sitting inside a 94 Spec Miata. Gas gauge is just not working. See, we turn on, let me zoom in here a little bit. Turn on the ignition. Nothing. We know there's about a half tank of gas in this car right now, so either the fuel gauge has gone out or the fuel sender unit has gone out. Here are the two units in question. First, the speedo cluster, which contains the fuel gauge right here. This was purchased on eBay. I'll show you how to disassemble this. Next is the fuel pump fuel tank sender unit. It's a combo unit that was also purchased on eBay. Essentially, the fuel sender unit is this unit right here, and it is actuated by this float that sits inside your tank. This is submerged into your tank, and as you fill up the fuel, this thing goes up. As it empties out, this goes down. So that's basically the function. And this is changed out as an entire unit. I'll show you how to test to see if this unit is the culprit. First things first, you access the rear package tray of the Miata. You have to remove the carpeting, if you do have carpeting back here, and then just remove this panel right here. It just has 6 Phillips head type screws, which you can remove with just a simple screwdriver. Once you have the screws off, it's pretty simple. You just lift off the pan, and essentially you have access to the fuel pump cover here. In order to determine if the gauge in the cluster is bad, you have to start back here by removing this unit, this clip right here. So once you have this removed, you can actually test it from the wiring here. There's 4 wires that are present: a blue wire, black with white stripe, and then the yellow. The yellow one is actually the one that you'll want to test, and this will give you a reading if there's continuity back to the cluster itself. Next, if we have continuity there, then it's likely that this sender unit is bad. That's underneath here, and we would replace the entire unit. So I'm just using a standard ohm meter here in order to measure continuity. I look for the yellow wire, and the upper right quadrant of this connector, female wise, is basically what I'm going to hook up one side of the ohm meter to. So I hook that up right here, and then when I touch this unit to ground, if the gauge is working properly, it should be about 60 ohms or so. So I'm doing that right now, and we're coming out with about 59 ohms. So the gauge is working properly. We don't need to replace that. What we would be doing is looking at the unit under here, the sender unit, in order to replace. So we'll get to that next. The best time to remove the hose clamps and hoses here is when it's at the middle of the day itself. Essentially, you just squeeze these with a pair of pliers and try to bring them back. And once you have them out of the way, it should be easy. You can see that with the heat from the sun on these fuel lines, they're relatively easy to pull off. There, and you can kind of see that this fuel that actually comes out of this one here. So be careful on that. Once you've removed all the 8 screws, the unit itself should be relatively easy to take out. It just lifts up, you shift it to the side, and you pull the entire unit out. Again, it's full of fuel, So you want to be working in a well-ventilated area. Allow the fuel to drain off the fuel filter itself, and then carefully remove the entire unit along with the float and pull that out of the way. The next unit itself, or the replacement unit, actually goes in just in reverse. So once you have the unit back in, the fuel line's hooked up again, and it's just a matter of reconnecting the electrical connection for the center unit and then putting the panel cover back on. Okay, everything's buttoned back up. Turn the key on. And we should see the gauge moving here. It is moving up. It's coming off of the empty line itself. It takes about 2 minutes to actually fully read what it is in the tank, but I think we can safely conclude that we have fixed the fuel tank sender unit. Well, that's it, folks. Sir Fix Alot signing off.